In this video, I'm going to be talking about how to become aesthetic or happy with your body as a teen or young man. Before we get into this video, I'm going to be talking about my personal fitness journey and how becoming fit and aesthetic really changed my life. So skip to this time if you're just interested in the actionable steps. When I was a child, I was never particularly into sports. I was skinny with an 8-pack and slightly athletic as a kid, but no sports ever really resonated with me on an emotional level, or at least to the point where I got deeply invested in it. Like at one point, I enjoyed basketball and would play around with my friends, or I played football for a year in 3rd grade, but this was never anything that truly brought joy to my soul or anything that I was truly passionate about. As a kid, the only form of physical fitness that truly housed my passion was fighting. I love watching animes like Dragon Ball Z, Naruto, Yu Yu Hakusho, and I also enjoyed superheroes like Batman, Spider-Man, Green Arrow, and The Flash. I remember as a kid, I would be watching these shows and I wanted to be buff like Goku, go Kaioken and then beat the shit out of some bad guy. I would play fight with my cousins and siblings any chance that I got, even though some feminine programmed ass adult would always tell us stop, like any old family member. Wanting to be a superhero and a fighter really had me doing chin-ups on the bar in my closet because I wanted to look like Arrow. And that puts into perspective how light I was as a kid. I was a really skinny kid. I remember doing handstands in my room watching Dragon Ball Z videos, trying to do handstand push-ups like Goku. Now I can do them. Fighting was the only thing that motivated me as a young child to work out. I also remember watching a lot of Jax Blade at this time. Then as I aged into a preteen and early teenhood, the programming got me, and I really got addicted to Fortnite.
Come here! Okay, I'm coming. What are you doing?
Which you guys would have known all about if I didn't accidentally delete the Fortnite video. So that's my bad. As I got more and more into video games and less into moving, I got kind of chubby. I had the very classic skinny fat teen body, a chubby face and stomach with skinny arms, and I felt completely disconnected with my body, which no kid should ever feel like. This lasted for most of my life up until October 2021. Near my 15th birthday, I started watching a lot of Baki, so I decided to get into shape and asked my dad for a pair of 20-pound dumbbells for my birthday. I remember when I first got them, I could barely do curls with them, which thinking back to is really insane. I was doing shitty workouts at first, but I was still seeing progress. For the next 2 to 3 months, my volume would increase, but I was still doing really shitty workouts with an inconsistent diet. All this started to change in early 2022 when the fitness stars really aligned for me. I got really deep into YouTube fitness, watching channels like Natural Hypertrophy and Alpha Destiny. But the channel that shaped my training mindset the most, apart from Jax Blade from when I was a kid, was The Bioneer. I love how he combined the anime and superheroes that I loved with science-based tools to not only get more of their physical attributes, but their mental ones as well. This made me rethink what fitness was to more of a choose-your-own adventure, rather than doing standard 10x3 reps and sets. So following all these YouTubers' tips, I went from this in January 2022 to this in June 2022. I really saw an exponential curve in my gains. Now the last YouTuber I'm going to be discussing is Hamza. In May 2022, I was going through a real rough time mentally, and one day a video on how to improve your mental health in 2 weeks popped up on my recommended. My phone ran out of storage, so that's what's up with the hair switch. But once that video popped up, 2 weeks, I was like, bro, that shit gotta be capped, that shit not real. But you know, I was desperate, so I tried it, and just like that, I fell into the self-improvement rabbit hole, and that's how I'm here today. And based off the benefits I received, I'm never gonna climb out of this rabbit hole, so expect me to stay here. Self-improvement added to the training philosophy that the Bioneer instilled in me. That philosophy that fitness is just a choose-your-own adventure game. But here, when I really got deep into thinking, not even just what Hamza was saying in his videos, because sometimes he'd be saying wild shit, but like, I realized that everything up to this point has misled me, and I'm almost completely in control of who I am as a person, not only my fitness. Go watch Choose Your Programming, where I elaborate on that concept further. After this summer, the summer of 2022, which Penel and I coined Self-Improvement Summer.
Summer was the toughest shit.
Yeah,
it's next to self-improvement school.
One of the best summers of my life.
I transitioned from just using dumbbells and calisthenics equipment to hitting the actual gym and weight training because I had a strength training class. All the current training I do is strength training, like hitting the weights, even though I don't have that class anymore. I just go to the YMCA. calisthenics and gymnastic ring work, and martial arts training / sparring with Pinnell. Each of these types of exercises has their own subcategories that we could really go in depth in, but come on man, you're here to get aesthetic. Now that I went over my fitness journey, I'm going to be sharing with you the lessons that I've learned from becoming aesthetic. The first lesson that building an aesthetic body has taught me is hard work and discipline. Going to the gym, especially when you first start, has a lot of limbic friction involved. As in, it is pretty rare, especially in the beginning, that you are in the right mindset to work out. However, you still have to do it regardless of how you feel. If I picked the lazy route and didn't go to the gym every time I didn't feel like it, or ate some food every time someone offered it to me, I would not be aesthetic right now. What it told me is your body is a direct physical representation of your choices, but you must take full responsibility of your choices and not blame it on genetics. Make progress with what you have, because at the end of the day, unless you're missing all of your limbs, how you look, feel, and operate is completely a product of your actions. Go watch my Take Responsibility short if you want to learn more about this. Once you have taken responsibility, do the hard work, especially when you don't feel like it. This will build your resilience and discipline, making it easier to just do the hard work when you don't feel like it again and again and again and again and again and again and again. Basically for the rest of your life. Suffering in the now to make that net gain, which perfectly leads me to the next thing that exercise taught me. Now personally, I'm a hands-on learner, so exercise was the perfect teacher of delayed gratification. Go watch my delayed gratification short if you don't know what it means, but delayed gratification in short terms is delaying an impulse or immediate reward to receive a more favorable reward later. Now, I've always heard of the concept of delayed gratification and understood what it meant on a surface level, but never truly grasped it and applied it to my life. This was until I started exercising. Exercising is a perfect way of teaching delayed gratification. First, you suffer in a multitude of ways. You can't eat foods that you would normally enjoy because you have to stay on track with your diet. You have to almost completely give up social eating, which is a big way that people connect. There's a lot of times where people will offer me food or ask if I want food, and I just gotta be like, no, bro, I don't want it, bro. And they're like, oh, just eat. I'm like, no, bro, I don't want it, bro. Like, it's a real thing. You really gotta bob and weave the fucking candies and the sweets and the milkshake sips. You can't stay up late partying even though it's 2 a.m. and I'm making this video, because you have to sleep enough to recover and wake up early to hit the gym. And after all that, waking up and hitting the gym itself is hard and a form of suffering in its own right. But you gain a lot in return for your suffering. With the delayed gratification, the more you suffer, the more you gain. To a point, of course, because of diminishing returns, but ignore that. The product of all that suffering that you have endured is better physical performance. You can perform more physical feats based on your specialized training. You can become faster, stronger, and have more work capacity and endurance. Better focus and cognitive abilities, like a better kinesthetic sense, which can help with visual thinking. Video on that soon. Your body visibly changes, giving you physical feedback that your suffering is paying off. Your mental health increases because you have a better body image and higher self-confidence. You are also setting goals and achieving them, which in itself greatly boosts your mental. Hard work in itself is good for your mental health. Let me repeat this. Hard work is good for your mental health. So with all these benefits, not eating certain foods, avoiding certain social settings, and waking up early to actively use and get connected with your body is nothing. Also, that's why everyone should work out. There are benefits for any type of person. Now that I went over my personal journey, I'm going to tell you how you can start your exercise journey and eventually become aesthetic. When you first start your journey to become aesthetic, the main thing you should be focused on is not actually becoming aesthetic itself, but building the habit of consistently exercising. This is pivotal. I cannot stress this enough. After you do this, becoming aesthetic is actually the easy part, and it just takes time. Don't worry, I'm not just going to tell you that and not give you any ways that you can implement it. You know, on this channel, we are all about taking action and implementing what you just learned. And if you are new to this channel, but you made it this far, subscribe, because I have tons of actionable content that will objectively improve your life if you apply the steps. But basically, you want to do an extremely light full body routine each day for the next 6 weeks. Here's the program. Tone down the steps and reps and make it a manageable amount for you. And if you don't know the workload that you're capable of, do the full workout, and then if you're sore the next day, just do less. After you're done with this 6 weeks, you'll build probably some muscle, but a lifetime's worth of consistency. Now go do those 6 weeks and then come back and rewatch the video from this point. Welcome back. After you have done the 6 weeks and built the habit of consistency, it's time to get aesthetic. And no better place to start than discussing an aesthetic male physique is one that achieves a V-taper, meaning that your shoulder to waist ratio should form a V. The way to achieve aesthetics and shape your body into that V-taper is by working these specific muscles. The back and shoulders especially. Specifically for the shoulders lateral delts. Removed from muscles that build the V-taper, being lean and having abs is extremely important to aesthetics. It just adds a nice visual pop to your physique. Being lean also makes your waist smaller, which will increase your shoulder to waist ratio. Now that you know what an aesthetic physique looks like, it's time to discuss forms of exercise. Now, the 3 forms of exercise that I consistently practice are calisthenics and weighted calisthenics, weight training, and martial arts. Now, there are many forms of exercise, but if you want to become aesthetic, it really boils down to 2, calisthenics and weight training. There are tons of videos on YouTube discussing the difference between the 2, and it's like a battle or whatever. So if you want a more in-depth deep dive into these topics, go watch one of those YouTube videos. You came here to learn how to get aesthetic. Calisthenics is working with your body weight to gain muscle and achieve skills. Now, if you're trying to become aesthetic, you would be more focused on the former. Weight training is using external weights to build muscle and strength. Now, obviously, there's crossover between the 2, and they work in conjunction. That's why I train both, and I recommend everyone to just train both. I see amazing results training both. When I only did calisthenics, it wasn't as good. When I only do strength training, it's not as good. When I do both, it's so good, and I make gains the quickest. For aesthetics though, I recommend starting out with calisthenics because the exercises you're going to be doing are naturally biased towards the muscles that will make you more aesthetic, like your shoulders, your chest, and your back. Calisthenics is a lot of back work, so it gives you a really good aesthetic foundation to build off of. With calisthenics, you have to stay naturally lean, so that paired with the fact that it naturally biases the V-taper muscles makes it perfect for aesthetics. After starting with calisthenics, slowly incorporate weightlifting to pick up the lacking areas that calisthenics really aren't hitting, like your chest, your neck, your upper chest, just any area that is lacking from your calisthenics. And then you could do a complete hybrid program where you just switch in and out, work weight training back one day, calisthenics, pull-ups and shit the next day. This will make your journey of becoming aesthetic much easier. When training for aesthetics, I recommend a PPL split or a push-pull legs. You can do this with calisthenics or weight training. On your push days, prioritize your shoulders and your chest. On your pull days, prioritize your back, biceps, and rear delts. Then, on your legs days, we'll prioritize your legs. Repeat this cycle twice a week, then have a rest day on the 7th day. You're gonna be resting on Sunday like God. I will be making a video all about exercises to build up these attractive muscles soon, with both weight training and calisthenic exercises for all these muscles. But if you already did your 6 weeks, that should be out. And if you don't want to wait for that video to come out, just go back to that list and then search up exercises to build each one of those muscles and then incorporate it in the program. That is the end of the video to become aesthetic and happy with your body as a young man or teen. So like, comment, and subscribe. Now get off YouTube. Go get aesthetic.